the fuck is men's work, right? I know you've probably been thinking about it. I get guys asking me about it. I know I certainly thought, first time I heard about men's work, I was like, the fuck are they talking about, right? I'm a man. I work. Like, is this what you're talking about? Like, is this men's work? Nah, y'all know, it's something different than that. But yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions. People just not exactly sure what men's work is. A lot of times people think it's some like kumbaya, like spiritual bullshit. That's certainly some of the ideas that went through my head the first time I heard about men's work. But check it out. I'm gonna lay it out for you here because essentially, what men's work is guys being real with each other and not being assholes, right, while they're doing it, right? Because sometimes when I need to fucking tell my bro I need to get real with him, I'm also being an asshole, right? So men's work is guys getting real with each other with certain agreements and understandings to not to be more compassionate, if you might say so much. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, yo, I'm real already, right? I'm real throughout my entire life. I feel the same way. I'm not no fucking, I'm not bullshitting here, right? But of course, obviously, there are certain things you will talk about in certain environments and things that you will not talk about in other environments. When I am talking to my grandmother, I am not going to talk about, the broad I fucked last weekend, right? Back before I was in an established monogamous relationship, right? So anyway, talk about that with my grandma, that would be incredibly disrespectful, right? So I'm not gonna do that. So the thing is, as guys, we do not have a lot of opportunities to talk about certain types of things, right? Now I can talk about cars or sports or like even food. I can talk about food or beer or pot, anybody like anytime, and that's very socially acceptable. But if I start talking about like more what we might call vulnerable shit in the wrong environment, that's it's gonna be weird. I ain't gonna do that, right? Now, if I'm going through life, but I never have an opportunity to talk about some of that more important shit, some of the shit that might be a little bit more vulnerable. And I know guys hate that fucking word because like I'm trying to be tougher, I ain't trying to be vulnerable with the world here. But another thing we might say is like sensitive, because everybody knows like a fucking ninja, can hear the enemy's fucking punch before that even happens. It's because the sensitivity that makes them powerful. You know what I'm saying? So sensitivity is really important, and awareness is really important. And so if we want to be masters of our environment as men, we need to learn to cultivate things like sensitivity, awareness, and yes, dare I say, vulnerability in the right circumstance. So yeah, men's work is guys getting real with each other. It's talking about things we don't normally talk about, like with our grandmas or maybe even at work. Now, why is that valuable? Because here's the thing. If we do not talk about this stuff, most likely it's going to be sort of pent up in a mix of like subconscious bullshit that we don't even realize is operating there, right? Like maybe my girl says something to me that for some reason just pisses me off, and like, yeah, I feel attacked by it, and I feel very justified in being pissed off. But turns out I got all this like anger and frustration with the world that's been like pushed down into my subconscious. And so when she says something like maybe she's just making a joke, maybe she's asking me a question, and I just fucking snap. And that's because There's all this shit that's been pushed down into my subconscious because I never talk about it, right? So one of the values of having men's work is a place where guys can talk about guy shit with other guys who are going to understand them. And they'll say, yeah, I had to deal with that same thing, right? They're like, I was brought up that same way. So we can understand each other and we can start to make sense of it. And then we bring more of what is in our subconscious into our conscious awareness. All right? So, and it works both ways. Like when I do men's groups, it's not so much us like giving each other advice, really. It's more of just, each man saying his piece and other men hearing him, because there's an incredible amount of value in just talking it out with guys who understand. And also, for me, just hearing another guy talk about his experience, that might show me something that I didn't even realize that was an issue for me, right? Like maybe some guy's holding an incredible amount of shame for something he did years ago, right? And when he shares about that, I realize like there's some shit, that I did, I ain't too proud of, and that's been shoved down into my subconscious. So just hearing him talk about it, being real, like me being present with him, that brings it up into my conscious awareness. All right. Now, when we have our experience in our conscious awareness, then we can be more of that fucking ninja, type shit that I'm talking about, right? We can be more present and more compassionate men for everybody that we interact with, right? So this is incredibly valuable. Anyway, obviously there's more to it than that, but that's just my short little bit on the fuck men's work is, right? And men's groups. So check it out, y'all. If you don't, if you've never been to one, check one out. If you know some friends, or if you want to learn from a guy who knows it, check out my buddy Galen Erickson. He's been doing this shit for a long time and he knows all about it. All right. So I'll catch you later. Cheers.